I ran through those hospital doors, heart pounding, desperate to reach my husband before surgery. But when that nurse grabbed my arm and whispered, "Hide, it's a trap," my blood turned to ice. What I saw through that operating room window made me freeze in absolute terror. My husband was awake, strapped down, and the man holding the scalpel. He wasn't wearing a doctor's coat. Watch until the end to discover the shocking truth that saved my husband's life. My name is Emma Richardson, and I need to tell you what happened on October 15th, the day I almost lost everything. It started like any ordinary Tuesday morning. My husband Marcus and I were having breakfast in our small apartment in Chicago. He was complaining about mild chest pains again, something he'd been brushing off for weeks. "It's just stress from work," he kept saying. "I'm only 37, Emma. I'm too young for heart problems." But I knew better. My father had died of a heart attack at 42. "Marcus, please," I begged him. "Just go get it checked out. For me. For Lily." Our 7-year-old daughter was still asleep in her bedroom. He finally agreed. "Fine. I'll go to the clinic after work." But he never made it to work. At 10:47 a.m., my phone rang. Unknown number. My hands started shaking before I even answered. "Mrs. Richardson. This is Dr. Patterson from Mercy General Hospital. Your husband collapsed at his office. He's had a major cardiac event. We need to operate immediately." The world tilted. "What? Is he alive?" "He's stable but critical. We need to perform emergency bypass surgery within the hour." "How quickly can you get here?" I'm coming right now." I called my sister to pick up Lily from school. I grabbed my keys with trembling hands. I didn't even lock the apartment door, I just ran. The hospital was 20 minutes away. I made it in 12, running every red light, my heart hammering against my ribs. All I could think was, "Please, God, let him be okay. Please don't take him from me. Not like Dad. Not Marcus." I burst through the emergency room doors at 11:15 a.m. My husband Marcus Richardson, he's in surgery, the receptionist checked her computer. "Or 4, ma'am. 3rd floor, West Wing." "But you should wait in the..." I didn't hear the rest. I was already running toward the elevators. The 3rd floor was a maze of white corridors, all looking identical. Signs pointed in different directions: cardiology, radiology, surgical suites. I followed the arrows to the West Wing, my sneakers squeaking on the polished linoleum. That's when I saw her. A nurse, young, maybe 25, with auburn hair pulled back in a tight bun. She was standing in the middle of the hallway, and when she saw me running, her eyes went wide. Not with concern. With fear. She looked behind her, then quickly walked toward me. "Are you here for OR 4? She whispered urgently. "Yes." "My husband." She grabbed my arm and pulled me into a supply closet, shutting the door behind us. The sudden darkness was disorienting. "What are you hide?" she hissed. "It's a trap." My entire body went cold. "What are you talking about?" "My husband is dying. Listen to me very carefully." Her voice was shaking. "Something is wrong with OR 4. I'm a surgical nurse. I've worked here for 3 years. The team that went in there. I don't recognize any of them. Not the surgeon, not the anesthesiologist, not the assistants. And Dr. Patterson? There is no Dr. Patterson at this hospital." The floor seemed to drop out from under me. "That's impossible. He called me. He said, someone called you pretending to be a doctor. Your husband was brought here." "Yes. I saw the paramedics bring him in. But then these other people showed up with paperwork, saying they were transferring him to their surgical team. It all happened so fast, and it looked official, but something felt off. Why didn't you say anything? I did. I told the charge nurse. She said everything was approved by administration, that they were a specialized cardiac team. But I checked the system, there's no record of any specialized team being scheduled today. My mind was spinning. So what are you saying? Who are these people? I don't know. But I think you need to call the police. Right now. I pulled out my phone with shaking hands. But before I could dial, the nurse's pager beeped. She checked it and her face went even paler. They're moving him. They're about to start the procedure. I need to see him. I need to know. She gripped my shoulders. If these people are who I think they are, and you burst in there, they might hurt him. Or hurt you. Who do you think they are? She hesitated. 6 months ago, there was a news story about a black market organ trafficking ring operating in Chicago. They were targeting patients with good tissue matches, staging fake emergencies to get them into operating rooms, and harvesting their organs for wealthy buyers overseas. The FBI shut down one operation, but they suspected there were others. I felt like I couldn't breathe. You think they're going to, I don't know. But your husband is young, healthy despite the heart condition, and if he's the right blood type. She didn't finish the sentence. Rage and terror flooded through me in equal measure. I'm not going to hide in a closet while someone butchers my husband. We're going to that operating room right now, and we're going to be smart about it, she interrupted. Come on. We slipped out of the closet. The hallway was empty now, eerily quiet. The nurse, whose name tag read Sarah Chen, led me down the corridor toward OR4. Stay behind. Me, she whispered. Let me look first. We approached the operating room. There was a small window in the door, the kind that lets people check in on procedures. Sarah peered through it, then immediately pulled back, her hand over her mouth. Oh my God, she breathed. What? What is it? Look. But be quiet. I pressed my face to the window. And that's when I froze. Through the glass, I could see Marcus on the operating table. He was awake with his eyes wide in terror, a gag in his mouth. His wrists and ankles were strapped down. Standing over him were 4 people in surgical masks and caps, but their scrubs were wrong, different colors, mismatched, like they'd been bought from a medical supply store instead of issued by the hospital. And the man holding the scalpel. He wasn't wearing gloves. And his surgical coat wasn't a coat at all, it was a white windbreaker with bloodstains on the sleeves. Marcus saw me. Our eyes locked. He was trying to scream through the gag, thrashing against the restraints, tears streaming down his face. That's when the fake surgeon noticed Marcus looking at something. He turned toward the window. And smiled. Sarah yanked me away from the window just as the fake surgeon started walking toward the door. Run, she hissed. We sprinted back down the hallway. Behind us, I heard the operating room door slam open. Stop her, a male voice shouted. We rounded a corner and Sarah pulled me into a stairwell. We need to get to security. Now. We flew down the stairs, taking them 2 at a time. My lungs were burning, my vision blurring with tears. Marcus is alive. They haven't hurt him yet. There's still time. We burst out on the first floor, right into the main lobby. Sarah ran to the security desk, where 2 guards were monitoring camera feeds. OR4, she gasped. Organ traffickers. They have a patient, Marcus Richardson, they're going to kill him. The older guard stood immediately. Slow down, miss. What are you? There's no time. I screamed. My husband is strapped to a table in OR4 with people who are going to harvest his organs. Call the police. Something in my voice, the raw desperation, made them believe me. The younger guard grabbed his radio. Code Silver, OR4. Possible hostage situation. All units respond. The older guard looked at the security monitors and his jaw dropped. Jesus Christ. That's not our surgical team. Alarms started blaring throughout the hospital. The younger guard was already running toward the elevators, hand on his weapon. Sarah grabbed my arm. Come on. We're going back up. Are you insane? The police won't get here for at least 5 minutes. And those people know the alarms are for them, they're going to try to run. Or worse, they might hurt your husband to eliminate evidence. We need to keep them contained until help arrives. She was right. And I wasn't going to let Marcus die alone and terrified. We ran back to the stairwell. Other staff members were flooding into the hallways now, confused by the alarm. Sarah shouted at them, "Everyone get back. Security situation in OR 4. We reached the 3rd floor. The hallway leading to OR 4 was empty, too empty. The door to the operating room was closed. They locked themselves in, Sarah whispered. Then we heard shouting from inside. Male voices arguing. One of them yelled, "We need to go now. Forget the kidney, just grab whatever we can and get out." "The door," I said desperately. "Can we lock them in?" Sarah's eyes lit up. She ran to a nearby utility closet and came back with a metal rod. "Help me." We wedged the rod through the door handles, jamming it tight. Just as we finished, someone tried to open the door from the inside. It rattled violently but held. "Hey," a voice roared. "Open this door. Go to hell." I screamed back. I pressed my face to the window again. Marcus was still on the table, still alive. One of the fake medical staff was trying to wheel him toward another door, a back exit. "They're trying to escape out the back," I yelled. Sarah sprinted down the hall toward the other side of the surgical suite. I stayed at the main door, keeping watch. The people inside were now actively trying to break down the door, ramming it with something heavy. Then I heard the most beautiful sound in the world, sirens. Multiple police vehicles pulling up outside. Footsteps thundering through the stairwells. Police. Nobody move. Officers flooded the 3rd floor. They surrounded OR 4, weapons drawn. Sarah had blocked the back exit. The fake surgeon and his team were trapped. It took 20 minutes to safely extract Marcus from that room. When they finally got the doors open, the fake surgeon and his 3 accomplices surrendered without a fight. They knew it was over. The police cuffed them and dragged them away as they screamed about lawyers and rights. The audacity of these monsters. I ran into OR 4 and fell to my knees beside Marcus's table. A real doctor was checking his vitals while a nurse removed the gag and restraints. "Emma," Marcus choked out, his voice hoarse. "You saved my life." I couldn't stop crying. "I thought I lost you. I thought, shoo. I'm here. I'm okay." But he wasn't okay. Not really. The trauma of what he'd been through, being conscious, helpless, knowing he was about to be butchered for his organs, that's something you don't just recover from. The police detective who interviewed us later explained what had happened. Marcus had collapsed at work from a cardiac episode. Real paramedics brought him to Mercy General. But the organ trafficking ring had someone working in the hospital's administrative office, a woman named Patricia Holden, who had access to patient records and emergency admissions. When Marcus came in, she saw his blood type, O negative, universal donor, his age, his excellent health markers aside from the heart condition. She made a call. The trafficking ring showed up with forged paperwork, claiming to be a specialized cardiac team transferred from Northwestern Memorial Hospital. They took over Marcus's case and moved him to OR 4, an operating room that was scheduled to be in use that day due to maintenance. The phone call I received. Patricia Holden again, using a spoofed number and a fake name, making sure I'd come to the hospital probably to sign organ donation paperwork that would give them legal cover after the fact. If Sarachan hadn't recognized that something was wrong, if she hadn't warned me, if I had just waited in the family waiting room like a good, obedient wife. Marcus would be dead. His heart, kidneys, liver, and corneas would have been shipped to 4 different countries by now. And I would have been told it was a tragic complication during surgery. The FBI got involved immediately. The 4 people arrested at the hospital were Robert Lindstrom, the fake surgeon, actually a veterinarian who'd lost his license, Yuki Tanaka, anesthesiologist, real credentials but suspended for malpractice, Dennis Kowalski, surgical assistant, actually a medical device salesman, and Jennifer Park, surgical nurse, real training but involved in the trafficking ring for the money. Patricia Holden, the administrative worker, was arrested at her home that evening. Her computer files revealed she'd been scouting patients for the trafficking ring for 8 months. Marcus would have been the 9th victim. The other 8 victims? All dead. All young, healthy people with sudden medical emergencies, who died during routine procedures at various hospitals across Chicago. Their families never knew the truth until now. The FBI raided 3 other locations connected to the ring and arrested 17 more people, including the kingpin, a disgraced cardiothoracic surgeon named Dr. Emilio Vargas who'd been banned from practicing in the United States 15 years ago. The trial was all over. Questions. Get names. Get documentation. Sarah Chin saved Marcus's life because she noticed something felt off. If medical staff seem nervous, if procedures seem irregular, if something in your gut says this isn't right, listen to that voice. When you get a call about a medical emergency, call the hospital back using a number you look up yourself, not the number the caller gives you. Scammers use spoofing technology to make fake calls seem legitimate. The FBI estimates there are still at least 6 active organ trafficking rings operating in the United States. They target the vulnerable, people with rare blood types, people who come into emergency rooms alone, people whose disappearance might not be immediately noticed. But Marcus didn't fit that profile. He was a middle-class accountant with a wife and daughter, a steady job, and a normal life. And they still targeted him because his organs were worth approximately $500,000 on the black market. Your organs are worth money. Your loved one's organs are worth money. And there are people who see you not as a human being, but as a product to be harvested and sold. Today, Marcus is back at work. Lily knows that Daddy had a scary thing happen at the hospital, but he's safe now. We've shielded her from the worst details. She's only 8 now, too young to understand the true horror of what almost happened. Sarah Chin became one of my closest friends. We meet for coffee every week. She left Mercy General with too many traumatic associations and now works at Children's Memorial, where she says she feels safer. She was honored by the Illinois Nurses Association for her courage. She deserves so much more. Mercy General underwent a complete security overhaul. They implemented new verification systems for surgical teams, mandatory ID checks at OR entrances, and a whistleblower hotline for staff who notice anything suspicious. It's not enough to erase what happened, but it's something. I think. The news. Mercy General Horror, the headlines read. Black market organ ring exposed by hero wife and nurse. Sarah Chin and I were called to testify. Standing in that courtroom, looking at the faces of those monsters who had tried to murder my husband for profit, I felt a rage I didn't know I was capable of. But I also felt something else, gratitude. Gratitude for Sarah's instincts and courage. Gratitude that I didn't give up. Gratitude for every second I still had with Marcus. All 17 defendants were convicted. The sentences ranged from 25 years to life. Dr. Vargas got life without parole. Marcus underwent real cardiac surgery 6 weeks later at a different hospital, with our own carefully vetted surgical team. The operation was successful. He's been in cardiac rehabilitation ever since, getting stronger every day. But the psychological scars are deeper than the physical ones. He has nightmares. He wakes up screaming, feeling phantom restraints on his wrists. He can't watch medical dramas on TV anymore. He has panic attacks in hospitals even for routine checkups. We're in therapy. both individually and as a couple. It's helping. Slowly. Now, 10 months later, I'm telling this story because I need everyone to understand, organ trafficking is real. It's happening in American hospitals. It's happening in your city. Here are the warning signs you need to know. If a doctor or surgical team you don't recognize shows up claiming to be specialists, verify their credentials immediately. Ask for their full names, their hospital affiliations, their license numbers. Real doctors won't be offended, they'll understand. Traffickers rely on urgency to prevent questions. If someone is pressuring you to sign consent forms immediately, to proceed with surgery right away without proper consultation, stop. Demand a second opinion. If your loved one is suddenly being moved to a different operating room or hospital without clear explanation, ask about that day constantly. I replay it in my mind, looking for the moments where things could have gone differently. If I'd waited in the family room. If Sarah hadn't been working that shift. If I'd been 5 minutes later arriving at the hospital. Marcus would be dead. Sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night and reach over to touch him, just to make sure he's real, that he's breathing, that he's still here with me. He does the same thing, reaches for my hand in his sleep, holding on tight like he's afraid I'll disappear. We're both different now. Trauma changes you in ways you can't predict. But we're alive. We're together. And we have a second chance that 8 other families never got. If you're reading this, I need you to do something for me. Share it with your parents, your spouse, your children, your friends. Make sure everyone you love knows that this threat exists. That it's real. That it could happen to them. Know your family members' blood types. Universal donors, O negative and O positive, are the most valuable targets, but traffickers will harvest any healthy organ they can. If someone you love has a medical emergency, know which hospitals in your area are reputable. Know how to verify doctor credentials. Know your rights as a patient and as a family member. If you're a hospital worker and something seems wrong, speak up. Sarah Chin faced pushback when she reported her concerns, but she didn't back down. Her persistence saved a life. Yours could too. Organizations like the Polaris Project and the Coalition Against Trafficking in Women need funding and volunteers. This isn't just about organ trafficking, it's about all forms of human exploitation. And finally, trust your instincts. If something feels wrong, it probably is. Don't let anyone make you doubt your own perceptions. Don't let anyone pressure you into decisions you're not comfortable with. Your life and the lives of the people you love might depend on it. It's been almost a year. Marcus just. His first 5K since the surgery. Lily is thriving in 3rd grade. Sarah is dating a pediatrician she met at Children's Memorial. I went back to work as a graphic designer. I need the normalcy, the routine. But I'll never be the same person I was before October 15th. That person trusted that hospitals were always safe, that doctors were always legitimate, that evil like organ trafficking only happened in movies or in other countries, never here, never to us. Now I know better. Now I know that evil is real, that it wears scrubs and carries scalpels, that it smiles while it plans to murder you. But I also know that ordinary people can be heroes. That a nurse who trusts her instincts can save a life. That a terrified wife who refuses to give up can stop monsters. I know that love is stronger than fear. That truth is stronger than lies. That light always finds a way to pierce through the darkness. Marcus is alive because I ran toward danger instead of away from it. Because Sarah Chin chose to risk her career, and possibly her life, to do what was right. Because we fought back. And if this story helps even one person recognize danger, and escape it, if it saves even one life, then reliving this nightmare will have been worth it. Stay vigilant. Stay safe. And never, ever ignore that little voice inside that tells you something is wrong. It might just save your life. If this story shocked you, if it made you realize how vulnerable we all are, please share it with everyone you know. Subscribe to Tales with Aunt Clara for more true stories that reveal the hidden dangers in our everyday lives. Hit that like button if you believe Sarah Chen is a true hero. And comment below, have you or someone you know ever experienced something suspicious at a hospital? Your story could save someone's life. Stay safe out there, everyone. Until next time, this is Aunt Clara reminding you, trust your instincts, question everything, and never give up on the people you love.